I love a good folklore, especially one I have not heard of. And that brings me into my review of the new film, You Are Not My Mother. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film You Are Not My Mother, which made its world premiere this year at Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF 2021, under the Midnight Madness category. Now, yeah, this is a dark Irish folklore, something I've never had heard of, a story I had not heard of, so I was definitely intrigued. And I love the fact that, again, this film was shot during the lockdown, so you know people had to get very unique and crafty in order to really get their work out there. And it's directed by a woman, so a bunch of things that are instantly going to invest me into checking out the project. And ultimately, I love horror, so this was just an easy no-brainer, folks. But there's one thing that's really an issue with me in this film. I'm gonna come back to it in a second, but there's one thing that I had an issue with. Now, in this story, you have Angela, the mother here, who, you know, on one just random day of dropping her daughter off at school, Char, she drives off the road. She's clearly bothered by something, like something is over her, because she's just not herself. But Char is just like, okay, cool, mom, you're tripping, I'm going to school. And then when she gets out of school, she realized that when she drove where they drove off the road at, the car is still there, but the mom is missing. And the mom is missing, and everybody's like in a frenzy of like, where is she? So, you know, they do the whole police investigation looking for her. And then she just returns. But when she returns, she clearly is not herself. She is just, oh, her whole energy and everything is different. It's better, I would guess, but it's just different. But Char is soaking it all in, but their grandmother isn't. Their grandma's is like, this ain't what you think it is. And that's where the folklore and stuff starts to get injected into the story, where you start to learn about the story of Char when she was younger, what had happened, why there's like a dark cloud over their family, and what the perception of the neighbors think about them, and you know how that taints everything that's happening within their family. You know, throwing all types of slanders about they're crazy, and we heard what you did when you were younger, and all this other stuff. So that's that. Now, let me explain a few things here. Char, the daughter here, my issue is that because she is the main, you know, your lead here, I never connected with her so that I ever was invested as to the protection of her, or you know, the dread she must have been feeling, any of that. I mean, yes, she's a young girl, you know, there were some issues between her and her mother. She's learning more about her family. She clearly wants to have a connection with her mother, but there's things, it's just not clicking. She's getting bullied at school, both physically and verbally, because of her history. So she's going through a lot, and at no time did I ever feel sympathetic for her, which is a problem, because in horror films you need to be able to connect with that main character in order for you to experience all of the atmospheric horror that's happening around her. So that's where I was just kind of like, so, and not to mention, yes, I get it, she's a young girl, but I felt like her immaturity and the immaturity of all the kids was such a buzzkill to everything else that this film was doing good. Because when you go back to Angela, and when you see this character and the sort of the how this character is like evolving over time, it's great. It's super good. I'm buying into it. And then once special effects and makeup, costume design, all that starts to come into play, things are getting better and better. So I'm really liking the creation of this being, this creature, and like that's working. But it's like the kid aspect was really killing me. And also too, like, she went on a field trip, and when she went on the field trip, they were talking about something that was eerie, similar to what she was experiencing at home. And I hated the idea that they had these coincidental circumstances that like tied the story together, where it's just like, how often do you go on a field trip and the field trip is talking about how fire can eliminate certain beings or whatnot, and that actually applies to what you're dealing with at home, with there being a creature or a spirit or some sort in your house. Like, I was kind of like, that is, you should win the lottery if you're that lucky. You know what I mean? But again, I think that the performances here, especially by Carol Backen, who plays Angela, some of these irate scenes that she has, really good, really good. And by all means, I gotta say, like, the film isn't bad. I just had a hard time connecting with our main character, Char, who's played by Hazel Dupe. I think that, you know, you want to have that connection. That way you can feel a sense of, you know, you want to be in her shoes. So you want to feel a sense of, you know, or shall I say a lack there of her safety, so that you're scared when she's scared. And that way you're experiencing the film, this horror film, in a way it is intended to be. So nonetheless, the twist at the end leaves things a little bit open for potential future ideas, and I'm cool with that. I would love to see where this possibly could go. I do think that there's some legs under this that could, you know, potentially do something, a spin-off, or, like, you know, further. It's a folklore, so obviously you can do something else with it, and I think there's room for it. So, but other than that, totally check this out. You Are Not My Mother is a film that I think that some people are easily going to gravitate to it. Some people may be a little bit of a, let's see what's up, and kind of be a little bit reserved. But nonetheless, I think it's still worth watching. Not a bad film at all. Just a few little issues that I had with it. But yeah, check it out, folks. Jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.